But last week we got into a new series called Promise. And we said that God's promise, when you have a promise from God, it is life-changing. It will change your life. And this week, Tabby hit on it a little bit. We had a life-changing experience. And Ashley, our oldest child, trotted off to OSU.
Wow.
And I didn't think that it would have as big of an impact on me as it did. I mean, after all, I've been preparing for this day since she was born in 1995. I've been waiting for her to get out of my house. I thought. And so we get there, and boy, we was having a good time. And boy, come time to go, when she sat on that bed and started crying. That mean Mama started crying. Allison's eyes got weary, and old Daddy started crying, and just had a nice little crying face right there in the room. And but I realized as I was leaving, I wasn't sad. I wasn't crying because she's going to college. That's a good thing. That's wonderful. To further your education, gain those experiences, that's awesome. I tell her all the time, I say, I hope your experiences are as good as my experiences. I know you have a good time, because I have a wonderful time here. But I was crying because if she sticks it out and doesn't quit, stays in Stillwater, she's no longer going to be a full-time resident in my house.
That's right.
She's going to be her own person, a young lady, an adult, make her own rules, get out of college, probably meet somebody, probably get married. Then you call me grandpa. And that's what I'm crying because, you know, I've had 18 short years. And they were short to get this little person ready to represent Jesus in the world. And that was a life-changing experience. And so I promised her that I will always be your daddy. I will always stand beside you. I will always support you no matter what. But you got to stay in school. You got to stay. Because she's already talking about, if this don't work out, I'm going to transfer back to UCO so I can be close to home. I said, no, you close enough. 50 minutes closer. So I hope she's sleeping. That's a life-changing situation. And I made her a life-changing promise as you transition from being a child to an adult. I'm your father. I'm going to stand by you. And so that's the promises of God. God made us some promises that change our life because no matter what, He's not going to change His mind about the promises that He made. And so last week, we said that promises absolutely and positively change your life. This week, I want to look at a powerful promise. And I really wanted to deal with 3 or 4 scriptures, but after I got to studying, we only have time for one. So let's look at Matthew chapter 11 and verse 28. And it simply says, this is Jesus talking, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, are burdened, and I will give you rest." Jesus says, "Come to me, all of you who are heavy laden, are weary and heavy laden, and I, me, Jesus, will give you rest." Jesus says, "Come to me." The first thing that jumped out about this as we dig into this passage of scripture, that Jesus said, "Come to me." He never said, "Come to church." He never said, "Come to religion." He never said, "Come to rules and regulations." Jesus says, "Come to me." That's it. And we as a church, that is a powerful promise for us because, listen, there are a whole lot of people that we probably could turn to who care about us, but the fact of the matter is they can't change our situation. But Jesus said, "Come to me." 3 things about this. First of all, this is exclusive. Jesus is the only person that could give this invitation and say, "Come to me," and it be genuine and authentic, and He's able to back up what He's going to say next. Jesus is the only one who could offer such an exclusive invitation. Come to me. Nobody else can lay claim to that. Not any other religion in the world. None of those guys, from Buddha to Muhammad to Hare Krishna, anybody else, they say, you know, hey, we're on this journey together. We're both trying to reach a state of enlightenment together. No, Jesus said, you can come to me. Straight to the source. So it's an exclusive invitation. Nobody but Jesus can extend it. And then it becomes a very personal invitation, because he is speaking to you as an individual. He's saying, Allison, come to me. Tammy, come to me. So it's personal, and I like that, because a lot of times, you know, how nobody else can get in my business with me and Jesus.
All right.
It's just between me and him. It's something that nobody else can disturb when he offers the personal invitation for me to come. And first of all, it's a personal invitation to someone who's unsaved. You might not have ever experienced God's forgiving grace. You may not have ever experienced God's life-changing power. So he's saying you can come directly to me. You don't have to go through no priest. You ain't got to go through nobody else. You ain't got to wait for nobody to pray for you. No, you can come straight to me. And then for the people who are saved, for those of us who have a relationship, it's still personal, because, listen, a lot of times as believers, we know we have to walk together and we have to share life together. But sometimes I'm dealing with things that only Jesus can handle, so I can say, I'm coming to you. It's a personal invitation. And then the last thing is that it's present. It's like right now. It's always present. He says, come to me now. Wherever you're at, whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're going through, right now you can go to Jesus for yourself, because it's an invitation. He says, come to me. Who is the invitation to? The next little word says it. He says, come to me all.
That's right.
My cousin, I remember when he preached his first sermon years ago, he said, there's nothing outside of all. There's no one outside of all. It's all inclusive. Anybody who will can come to me. All, any and everybody. We all have an invitation from the King of Kings, from the Lord of Lords, from the Creator of the universe to come. There's nobody outside of all. So you're not excluded. Jesus is not just talking to the Israelites. He's just not talking to the Gentiles. He's just not talking to the tribe of Benjamin. He's just not talking to the Levites. He said, any and everybody, all of y'all, come to me. This is my invitation. And then here's the promise. He said, if you come to me, well, I'll skip this part. He says, come to me all. All who are weary. That's what the next word says. Now I looked up weary, because I wanted to understand exactly what that meant. It says, one who is persistently, physically weary and tired, spiritually exhausted and discouraged and ready to throw in the towel. Weary, ready to throw in the towel. In other words, I have done all I can do. Can't do no more. That's it. I have nothing left. I'm exhausted. I'm troubled. I'm worn out. If somebody doesn't do something right now, I'm done. Has anybody, I know Alan has experienced this. When I ran track, the very first time I ever run at 800 meters, I didn't know how to run. That's 2 times around the track. So man, it was a 2-mile relay. I got the baton lock blazed down. I did the first lap, 50 seconds, which was good for a sophomore in high school. But boy, about the top of that second turn, Pete, I found out what it means to be weary, because I had 300 more meters to go. And I was so far out front, but the dude behind me, he ran up on me so fast because I was worn out. I tell Tammy, it's like beating that bass drum. That's how hard, because I was worn out. I had given everything I had in that first lap, but then didn't realize I had some more to go. And sometimes that's the way we are in life. We come out the gate blazing. We give it all we got. Run out. And we running like it's a 100-meter dash, but this is 800. We got a whole long way to go, and now I'm burnt out. So if somebody don't do something for me now, I'm gonna be dead at the top of the turn up there, because I'm done.
Yeah.
Jordan's laughing, you know. So everybody who's worried, I'm at the end of my rope. You know, at my old church where I grew up in, they said if you get to the end of your rope, tie another knot and hold on some more. Well, what if I'm at the end of the rope and I ain't got no room to tie no other knot? I'm done. Anybody who's weary, and the picture that was given is of somebody who's been beaten up. Y'all remember when Mike Tyson was in his prime, and he come in the ring, and he give it to him right quick. Boop, 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 boop. He didn't waste no time. He came in, bobbing and weaving, throwing them overhand rights. So picture Mike Tyson whooping up on Michael Spinks. Y'all remember that fight? I didn't get to see that fight. This is a side note. I didn't get to see that fight because I was popping some popcorn. And it took about 2 minutes to pop. By the time I popped, and it said, ding, he was done and going back. I said, I missed the whole fight. 47 seconds. But that's the picture that was given in this passage, is that somebody who is totally been whooped to death by life. You're weary. Life has beat all the fight out of you. I mean, they used to interview guys and they would say, well, what you gonna do? Well, I'm gonna do the best I can, you know. It's all good till you get hit. You get hit in the kidneys, but wait a minute, let me read. Well, life has beat you down so bad that you have nothing left, and if somebody don't do something now, I'm done. Throw in the towel, it's over with. So Jesus says, anybody who will come, if you're weary, if you've been beat down by life, if you've taken all you can take and can't take no more, come. And then he said, those of us who are heavy laden. Heavy laden is like you have a burden. Heavy laden is defined as like somebody takes a weight and puts it on you. Now the picture is you're already weary, JD. You already done had the life beat out of you. And now they're going to take some extra stuff and put it on you to weigh you down even more. And you're bending, you're crackling, you can't hold up under the weight. And Jesus says, if that's your case, if you are going through some situations right now in life, because the truth of the matter is, we have to understand that we talked about this before, that we are in a spiritual warfare.
That's right.
It's always a spiritual battle. So as long as you're living for Jesus, Satan is always after you. He's always looking for ways to beat you down and make you punch drunk and make you want to knock him out for the 4th round. And then think about that, and now your gloves don't weigh 8 ounces, they weigh 40 ounces. Now you out there way down, tired, can't move, and Satan is just with his feet doing all these shuffle. So Jesus said, if this is you, whether you a saved person or whether you haven't accepted his free gift of salvation, life has a way of driving you to a point that if somebody don't do something, if I don't get a break today, if something don't happen within the next 37 seconds, I'm done.
Gosh, Jesus.
So Jesus is saying, if that's you, Ronald, sitting here today and you've been beat down, you're worried about your baby girl, and you know what? Oh, pin that right there and put it aside. I told Tammy the other day, I said, you know, I understand how Paul felt. You know when Paul would be writing to the Corinthian church or to the church at Ephesus, he'd always say, and I always make mention of you in my prayers. Before Pete, I never really would pray for Ashley because she was under my protection. I could go right in the room and get to her. But now that she go, boy, every time I bow down to pray, Lord, watch out for my baby.
Yes.
That's a whole, ain't got nothing to do with this sermon. I'm sorry. But if you're beat down and you can't take anything else, Jesus says, come to me. If you're worn out, if you're burdened down, if you're under the weight of the pressures of life, come to me. Come on. Come on. If you're burdened, if sin's got you burdened, come on. Worries got you burdened, come on. Anxiety, come on. Whatever it is, Jesus doesn't exclude anything. He doesn't exclude anybody. All you have to do is come. All who are weary and heavy laden, and here's the promise, I will give you rest. Jesus says, if you're weary, heavy laden, burdened down, can't take no more, at your breaking point, you want to give up, you want to throw in the towel, you want to say, that's it, I'll surrender, I can't make it another day. He says, you are in a prime candidate to come. And I will give you rest. And we learned last week that all of God's promises are yea and amen through Christ. So if he said it, it's better than money in the bank. If he said it, then you don't have to worry about it. Listen, there is no reason for any of us to ever feel like I can't make it another day. There's no reason for any of us to ever feel like all of my work is in vain and I'm just tired of toiling. There's no reason for any of that, because Jesus said, come. If you feel like that, well, hey, good job. You've been working. Come on. I got you. Come on, and I will give you rest. In other words, I will be your source of refreshment. I will be your source of revigoration. I will give you what you need to be able to make it. Then I like verse 29. I didn't put it on because I didn't have time. We get into a whole different element. But what Jesus is really saying is he's saying, come to me and I'll give you rest. He's saying in 29 and verse 30, he's saying, come to me and I will give you a relationship that will satisfy you beyond anything else that you've ever imagined. That's awesome right there.
Yes.
Come to me and I will give you a relationship that will refresh you, that will sustain you, that will supply you with the strength to keep on going on. In verse 29, he says, come to me, take up on my yoke and learn of me. And I say, what did he say? My yoke is easy and my burden is light. If you look at verse 29, and I should have wrote it down, forgive me. But verse 29 is talking about the relationship that gives us the rest. He says, take up my yoke. In other words, get connected with me.
Jesus.
Take up my yoke. Learn of me. Take up my yoke. Work with me. So Jesus is saying, once you come, I'm going to get right in the middle of whatever you're in. And I'm going to put my yoke, I'm going to take the yoke that's burning you down, I'm going to exchange that. I'm going to lift it and send it over. I see you struggling, you can't handle it. Let me have it. Let me see if I can help you understand a little bit better. Come here, Hagen. And don't do this. If Hagen was to get on my back, grab the holder. If he was to get on my back, I could pick him up, but I hurt myself. So I ain't gonna, but if you can see, think about you heavy laden and you burning down. And I'm already weary. I'm an old man, knees is bad, done been beat up, and I got to tote Hagen around all day. And here's the point. Jesus said, if you belong to me,
Jesus.
how does this look to somebody who doesn't know me, seeing you burning down, dragging, can't hardly make it, oh Lord Jesus. So if you burning down and you're weary and you can't, Jesus says, come on, Davida, stop, come on.
Jesus. Jesus.
And get in a relationship with me and he'll take it, he'll make Hagen go sit down, because he's heavy. And Jesus said, get connected with me.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes, God.
Get yourself, take my yoke, get beside me, let me connect with you.
Yes.
Let's do this thing together.
Thank you, Lord.
And then he says, learn from me. In other words, go in the same direction that I'm going. Follow what I'm trying to tell you. See what I'm trying to teach you.
Right.
So we want to be connected. We want to be connected, and we want to let God direct us, and we want to learn from Jesus. Why? Because that's the key. He said, come, and I'll give you rest through a relationship that will satisfy and sustain you wherever you are.
All right.
Come on. Oh, songwriter says plenty of room at the cross. There's room for all of us.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
So he's saying that my promise is fulfilled when you get connected with me, when you exchange your yoke for the yoke that I'm going to give you. He said, because my burden is light.
It's light.
Because you don't have to carry it by yourself.
Thank you, God.
It's light. Because you have someone that is helping you bear the load.
Oh, my God.
It's light. Because he is the creator of the universe and he knows what you're dealing with and he knows how to satisfy and give you what you need. So get connected with Jesus. Learn from him. Let him direct and lead your path. And then he says, listen, the peace or the rest is unparalleled. You're talking about being, here's the key. It doesn't matter what situation you're dealing with in life, whichever one is going to come along the way from now on. If you're in the same yoke as Jesus and you're connected and directed and you're learning from him, it doesn't make a difference what's going on around you. You have rest because it's his yoke and not your yoke.
That's right.
The problem is when we try to deal with our yoke. But Jesus says, learn from me. So wherever you're at, it's okay because it's the relationship with Jesus that will give you the rest. And that's a promise. Now, I want to give you a few things that you can apply today, take with you, and we can begin to do it today and experience some rest. Because this is a promise to all of us. Watch this. The first thing we have to do is admit that we're burdened. I've seen it throughout my life and throughout, being in church my whole life. Sometimes the hardest thing for someone who thinks that they're really mature in Christ, sometimes the hardest thing to do is admit that I'm weary, I'm burdened, I'm worn out. Now I know I've been saved, I've been walking with Jesus for 20-something years, and I should be back. No, you never get past that.
Right.
Because the truth is, I told you that we are at war.
Yes.
And Satan is trying to knock you down. So we have to admit, I'm weary, I'm tired. God, I'm just tired. And if you don't help me, there is no help for me. So we're going to admit it. You might not be there today. Might not happen till next Thursday, the 18th of next month. But one of these days, if you're living for Jesus, or if you are under the burden of sin, and you feel God's call on your life, you're going to get to the point to where you say, okay, that's it. I can't take no more. Be like, Papa, that's all I can stand. I can't stand no more. Admit it. It's okay. It's not showing your weakness, because the Bible teaches when I'm weak, He's strong. So I need to admit it. I have to admit it every day. It's the daily admission. Lord, today, I don't want to get up. So we need to admit it. Then we have to accept the invitation. Admit it and then accept it. Say yes to Jesus, not now, but right now. Because the hardest thing for us to do, or for me to do as a man sometimes, is accept help. That's just the way I was built. I don't know why I'm like that, but I know I need help sometimes.
Right.
I know I need help dealing with the things I have to deal with just as a man. Then I'm a Christian. Oh, that's even double trouble. It's hard to accept it. So accept what Jesus offers. If he's extending the invitation and said, come, it only makes sense. Okay, I realize I need it, I admit it. Now I'm going to accept your help. What do you mean by accept it? Thank him and pray every day. Lord, thank you for being my helper. Thank you for providing me rest. Thank you for giving me the ability to cast my cares upon you, because I know you can. Thank you. I accept your gift of rest, and I'm going to live in it, and I'm going to enjoy it. Which is the last thing. Admit it, accept it, and then enjoy it. See, because here's what happens a lot of times. And my wife reminded me of this thing that happened this week. A lot of times we can feel guilty because I'm enjoying the rest of the Lord. I'm not stressed out like everybody else. I'm not under the gun like everybody else, because I have a different kind of thing going. I have a paraclete. I have a comforter. And I'm going to enjoy the peace and the rest that he gives me. Don't feel guilty. And here's why we feel guilty, because you have a real relationship with Jesus, and then you see somebody that you know, and every time I see daggum Tiffany, she ain't never got nothing good to say. She always complaining. I feel bad that I feel so good, and she feels so down in the dump. That's not your issue, and she needs to come. It's an open invitation, but if you don't go, if you don't come to Jesus, he can't do it. If she's got to go for herself, so I can't feel guilty because God has given me rest and the ability to enjoy it. So enjoy the gift of rest, or the promise of rest in Jesus through a real relationship. Because here's the most important thing that I'll say all day. Once you get to a point to where you enjoy something, you tell everybody else. I remember talking to Julie when she started riding bikes, and she said, well, we went on a big old ride, and she had pictures, and she was telling me about it because she enjoyed it. Talked to Jeff when they went on the cruise, and he was showing me the pictures, telling me how beautiful the water was. It was deep blue, it was down as far as you can see, because he enjoyed it. Yeah. So when we begin to enjoy the promises of God, what will I do? Yeah, you may be down, Tim, but let me tell you what I found out.
Jesus. Right.
Because when you enjoy something, you tell somebody else about it.
That's right. That's right.
When you really have a satisfying relationship with Jesus, one that provides you rest, one that provides you security, you're going to tell somebody why, because they're going through all kinds of and they need it.
That's right.
You got the cure in your pocket, and his name is Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus.
That's it.
A personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And he said, if you come to me, I'll give you rest. And I want to enjoy it, and I'm going to tell somebody else about it. Listen, man, if you're having a hard time, I know what the problem is. You need the rest that only Jesus can provide through his promise in his word. Have you ever discovered that? No. Well, how do I do it? Well, you got to admit it, accept it, and then enjoy it. Because the promise is there. First, we got to go. We got to go to it. He said, come. Anybody want to come? Come. But enjoy the promise of rest that Jesus gives. And the main key, if you enjoy it, tell somebody else about it.
Amen.